And now you might tell me, you might say, if you are not an avid viewer of this program and you do not share my beliefs, you might say, well, Sarah, there are some people who were born in Somalia that are good. Maybe there are a handful of good people. To that, I would say, I don't care. It's not worth it. No one is entitled to just be in my country. I don't care that you might be able to point to a handful of people who really, really, really have good intentions when they come here. If the overwhelming majority of them come here and commit crime and commit fraud schemes and are tied to terror groups and rise to the level of Congresswoman and then still complain about how oppressed she is, Ilhan, I don't care that you can point to a handful of good people. I don't care. You don't deserve to be here. You are not entitled to be in my country because you want to. Okay? Now, President Trump is apparently sending ICE into Minneapolis, the latest ICE agents descend on Minneapolis to crack down on Somali migrants after Trump said their country, quote, stinks. I thought that was actually nice. I thought that was a nice way. See, I call it a shithole. Now, he did before. He apparently has gotten nicer with age, and he simply says their country stinks. I say it's a shithole. I don't know why they're like, he can't say that. I mean, it is. Show me the lie. If it's not that bad, why are they coming here? If their country's so great, they would just want to say. So, show me the lie. Okay. So when you look at what is happening in Minneapolis and you look at this flashpoint right now, when it comes to immigration, it's not just the illegal immigrants. It's not just the illegal aliens who are coming from El Salvador and Mexico and all of these places in South and Central America. It's not just that. It's these people too. They have set up camp. We talk about it all the time. They've set up camp in Minnesota. They've set up camp in Michigan. Something needs to be done about that. And what else? Something needs to be done about Jacob Frey. He was the newly reelected mayor of Minneapolis. Now, I will say it's probably better him than the guy from the Tom Hanks movie. What was his name? Omar Fateh.
He's the captain.
He's not the captain
now.
Not the captain now.
No, but he was the captain.
He thought he was going to be the captain. He was like, I'm the captain now. And then it turns out he was not the captain and he did not get elected, which is interesting because before I play this clip of Jacob Frey, I want to make sure you guys understand. He wasn't elected Omar Fateh. The theory that they have over in Minneapolis is that it wasn't that he wasn't elected because people were like, it's kind of weird that you're speaking a different language in your campaign stump speeches and you're talking exclusively to people from Somalia. That's kind of weird that you want to be my mayor. That's not why. That's not why he wasn't elected. He wasn't elected because apparently there's some gang feud or whatever with all these Somalians. And it's like the Bloods and the Crips. And if you're not.
It's like the tribes.
Yeah, thank you.
Tribes.
It's a tribal feud. I just liken it to the Bloods and the Crips. So
I like liking it back to like 408, years ago or something.
I mean, I'd say get the over it if it stems from that long ago. But the point is, it was just the different tribes that were fighting amongst themselves. And the people who were not Omar Fateh's tribe were we don't want to elect him because he's not the right kind of Somalian. That was why he didn't get elected. I just want to put that out there. Okay, so here's the white guy, Jacob Frey, who has, been very clear that he stands with all of these Somalians and he's going to stand against ICE coming into his city and he stands against Trump and deporting the criminals and it violates the moral fabric of what we stand by in this country as Americans, according to Jacob Frey. He is all out simping for these Somalians. And here was part of his speech.
That's not American. That's not what we are about. And we're going to do right by every single person in our cities. And so to our Somali community, Daman Shabka, Somali Aid, Kunul, Minnesota, Garahan, Minneapolis,
come on.
Waan, Kuji, Janila High,
dude.
Waan,
look, even the guy behind him's laughing at him.
Taganahan.
The guy, Steven, go ahead. Go ahead. Show me the guy. The guy behind him is like trying so hard not to laugh at this guy speaking Somalian. You're a white guy, dude. It's like, stop. Just stop. Everyone is laughing at you. So the mayor is a white guy simping for the Somalians, which I totally understand. You had the Minneapolis police chief who had to give this speech a while back because he actually said, some of these Somalians are criminals. And they were like, you're not allowed to say that about Somalians. I'm the captain now. And he was like, okay, all right, okay. I'm sorry. I'll apologize on TV. And they had all these cameras in front of him. And who was surrounding him? A bunch of Somalians. And they were like, you're going to apologize or else. They're like the mafia of Minneapolis at this point. They run the streets of Minneapolis, and you will submit. And if you're white, you're going to be speaking Somalian here in this country in the United States. And so when it comes to all of these Somalians, of course, the poster child for that is Ilhan Omar, the woman who married her brother, the incestuous Ilhan Omar. And Ilhan Omar wants to make this about her. She sees the opportunity to make this entire thing about President Trump being obsessed with her and her people. And so here is what she is saying now about all of this.
The president's obsession with me and the Somali community is really unhealthy. It's creepy. And I hope that he gets the help that he needs.
I would love for anyone, to count the number of times that Ilhan Omar has gone on social media and posted about President Trump. I would love to see that number because these people eat, sleep, and breathe everything that Donald Trump says, does, acts, looks at. Oh my God, he has a bruise on his hand. Oh my God, he said something that we don't like. He posted on Truth Social. Like, these people can't get enough of Donald Trump. And Ilhan Omar wants to make it about her. Oh, I don't understand why Donald Trump is so obsessed with me. He's not obsessed with you. He just wants you the out of our country. And you know what? Me too. I do too. We all want you out of our country. You come here, you don't appreciate anything. You rise to the level of Congresswoman and you're still complaining about how oppressed you are somehow. I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that you've been given everything, that you've been given afforded every opportunity, more opportunity than American citizens in some cases, because you came here as a refugee. And we took you in your swaddling hijab, and we allowed you to come into our country, and we allowed you to take advantage of our resources. And now, what thanks do we get? Ilhan Omar complaining about our country, about our constitution, about our law and order, about the fact that we don't want illegal criminals in our country, in our states. Just get the out. I don't understand why he's not obsessed with you. He just wants you out. I hope that I cleared that up. 113 posts, the control room tells me. 113 posts about Donald Trump, but he's obsessed with you. Okay, baby girl. Sorry, that math ain't mathing. All right? Now, it's not just Ilhan Omar that has just, decided to Trump is breaking all of them. Okay, it's not just Ilhan Omar. It's like the entire leftist media that they can't handle that Donald Trump he's just lost all of his to give. There's just no more. There's none left. And he's like, I don't actually care. I don't care. People probably don't want me saying this. I don't really care. I don't like them. I don't want them in our country. I think they're bad news for the country. And they can't stand that Donald Trump is saying all of these quiet parts out loud. They can't stand that Donald Trump is speaking up for the everyday American who feels forgotten about, who feels left behind. They can't stand it. And so now they're just they've lost their minds. They've jumped the shark. The New York Times podcast, the headlines released this episode today. Trump's xenophobic outburst. Yes, they are the whole podcast about Trump's xenophobic outburst. I don't know that you can call it xenophobic. A phobia requires me to believe that it is some sort of an irrational fear. This is first not a fear, but also not irrational to feel this way. And then they went even harder in on a full article. Trump calls Somalis garbage he doesn't want in the country. President Trump unleashed a xenophobic tirade against Somali immigrants on Tuesday, calling them garbage he does not want in the United States in an outburst that captured the raw nativism that has animated his approach to immigration. Even for Mr. Trump, this is my favorite part. Even for Mr. Trump, who has a long history of insulting black people, particularly those from African countries, his outburst was shocking in its unapologetic bigotry. Now, you might be wondering at this point, did they give the same energy with Joe Biden, who actually does have a long history of insulting black people? Yeah, I would love to see the New York Times articles written on Joe Biden using the N-word and Joe Biden talking about how it was insane that Barack Obama, it's like the first case of a, clear speaking, he's like, oh, he presents himself well. He speaks well. He looks nice. He looks sharp. He dresses well. The first time ever that an African American has been able to look like that. I would love to hear whether or not New York Times, actually, don't even. I already know the answer. Of course they didn't say anything about Joe Biden and his long history of insulting black people. I don't even know Stephen, do you even know what they're referring to? Even for Mr. Trump, who has a long history of insulting black people? Like what?
No, I mean, Miss Crazy is go back 10 years on this. He was in every rap song, rap video, or maybe more than 10, maybe 15, whatever, before 2015.
Yeah, they loved him. He was their homie, because I'm not going to get in trouble. He was their homie, okay? And now all of a sudden he has a long history. It's like, wow, that is some heavy lifting from the New York Times. Very heavy lifting. And listen, you may be thinking like, oh, well, this was just an opinion piece. Well, no, they're just trying to weaponize their reporting against Trump and, package it as news. The long history? Where's the long history? You don't say. Cite your sources, bro. They double down again. Trump appears to fight sleep during cabinet meeting. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump he might doze off, which by the way, I don't think that he did. I don't believe that he did. But let's just be honest. President Trump is up more hours than like any other president. And by the way, again, where was this energy during Joe Biden? Where was this energy during Joe Biden? President Trump began the meeting by criticizing media coverage about him showing signs of fatigue. Last month, he appeared to doze off during a meeting in the Oval Office. Like, where Joe Biden was dead for 4 years. Like, where were the articles? All of a sudden, they care about all of these things. By the way, let's not forget the one that they put out last week. Shorter days, signs of fatigue. Trump faces realities of aging in office. Yes, he's always used his stamina and energy as his political strength, but that image is getting harder for him to sustain because, Americans see Mr. Trump less than they used to, according to a New York Times analysis of his schedule. So now they're saying he has fewer public events on his schedule, and he's traveling less than he did by this point during his first year in office. So now we're comparing his first term to this term. And we're supposed to believe that, the heavy lifting, the mental gymnastics that are required to write this type of article are truly incredible. The man is getting twice as much done in a shorter amount of time. Like, he's actually just being more efficient. And the New York Times is like, but he's traveling less. He must be aging. Guys, Joe Biden was 200 years old. You couldn't even find a pulse on the guy the whole time he was in office. I'm not going to listen to this from you. I'm just not going to listen to this from you. Neither is Caroline Levitt, who had something to say about that.
And it's deeply unfortunate that this story was written by the same outlet and the same reporter who wrote this. Biden is doing 100% fine after tripping while boarding Air Force One.
There it is.
Oh, same outlet, same reporter who wrote that President Trump is not fit for the job. Are you kidding me? You all see him almost every single day. He is the most accessible president in history. He is taking meetings around the clock. Another one. Biden declared, quote, healthy and vigorous after his first presidential physical.
Well, we all know Joe Biden was full of vigor. I mean, you just look at the guy and you're like, that guy is full of vigor. That is the adjective that I would choose in that matter. And I want to close. I think that Scott Bessent was so great when he said this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who was just taking the Trump route of like, you know what? I'm going to talk shit on you and I'm just going to say it directly to your face. It would be disrespectful of me to go behind your back. So I'm just going to say this, New York Times, directly to your face.
The New York Times is no longer the paper of record. You can't go, I read this article, like President Trump is slowing down. President Trump's mental capacity. It is 100% fake. That, he only called me twice at 2 a.m. last week. Instead of 3 times. You had what was one of the greatest scandals of all time, that the coverage of the Biden administration, Joe Biden's diminished capacity, and the cover-up.
And that's why it's probably fair to raise these questions.
Where was the New York Times? We just had a 3-hour cabinet meeting yesterday, Andrew. For 10 months, the Biden administration did not have a cabinet meeting. How are you going to invoke the 25th Amendment if
they all cross their legs like this? They all cross their legs like that. What is with these Democrat men? I use that term loosely, men. What is with these Democrat men who are able to cross their legs like that? That dude, Gavin Newsom, Barack Obama, you guys tell me in the comments. Yeah, look, my crew member's trying to do it right now. Can you even cross your legs like that? You can't. You couldn't do it if you tried. You know why? Because you have a dick and balls. Don't turn me into HR. All right, make sure that you subscribe to YouTube, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, and make sure to smash the like button. It'll help us out in the algorithm. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.